Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
It's Seth from ShrinkingPastor.com.
And together, the three of us, we are Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Good morning and welcome to you, boy.
Good morning, Homer.
What you got there?
I'm not sure. But it smells like something you will hate.
Then I'm not smoking.
This is Tobacco Advent Day 1!
No, we're not doing, this is not Tobacco Advent yet.
That's tomorrow. This is Bell's Three Nuns Tobacco.
Bells?
That's what it says. It says Bell's
Okay, well,
Three
that's
Nuns Tobacco. None nicer.
That's a Sutliff tobacco.
It is, and this is from 2014. So this must have been a gift from somebody.
Okay.
Thank you for the Sutliff. Take a big whiff of that.
Yeah, okay, so look at that. Hold one of those up.
I gotta get it out. It's been
These are really interesting. These little medallions that they roll like cigars and then slice them off. Those are actually kind of fun to smoke.
They are.
All right, so last week we talked about vlogging. There was one more thing about that I wanted to talk about, and that was I did attend Vlogger Fair, and that was a day long out in Seattle. Was it worth going to? No. I mean, it was only because I happened to be on business in Seattle. I had already booked my flight. I'd already had my plans made to be in Portland and Seattle that week when I got the invitation from Adobe to come to their place and attend Vlogger Fair. And I thought, well, that's cool. I'll do that. I'll stick around a day and pay to go attend this thing.
Did you get a pie in the face? See any clowns?
Why would I have seen clowns?
Ride the merry-go-round?
Is this synonymous with Adobe?
Because it's a fair, isn't it?
Oh, gosh.
Dad joke for the win!
That was not a fair joke. No, there were no fairs. In fact, let me give you a taste of Vlogger Fair. Ready? It went like this. Hi, I'm here at Vlogger Fair. Look, Stevie's here. Hi, say hi, Stevie. Stevie's over here. Hey, I'm also at Vlogger Fair. The narcissism was so thick you could taste it.
They're vloggers.
I know. There probably had to be at least 100 people. And the vast majority of them very young, and most of them on their phones. Many of them knew one another because they watch each other's vlogs. I'm, with the exception of Casey Neistat and one or two others, I'm just not into vlogging or watching vloggers. I don't have time, for one thing. So I didn't know anybody there. Although that didn't stop me from meeting some people. And I wanted to mention to you, I met a gentleman that I want to give you his channels and turn you on to this guy. Right off the bat, we're standing in line together, and it's he and I, both of us in our mid-50s, and then all these 13-year-old to 19-year-old kids.
I feel like you were back at the Miranda
It was like
Sings
being
concert.
at the Miranda Sings concert. Yeah, exactly. And so it was such a joy to actually wind up next to a guy. His name was Stan Cravens. Stan has two channels. He has one with his wife, where they travel around together, and they're both grandparents, and so that's a vlog. And that channel is called Gpaw Adventures. So one word, Gpaw Adventures. And
if his individual channel isn't I Got What Your Cravens, I'm going to be upset.
Actually, that's not far off. His other channel is Stan Cravens. And Stan Cravens, when he's not vlogging, is very active selling things on eBay, and he's big into toys. And so even while we were together in line, I'm pulling up his information and checking out what he had to sell, and pretty cool. He had one video in particular that caught my eye because he was showing a toy that I'm planning on building here in the month of December.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was pretty timely. Well, we attended the first half of the first day. There were 2 days.
Stan?
There were 2 days, and my plan was to only stay for 1 day. And then we had lunch together, and what was really exciting is as we're standing in line, this guy cuts in line in front of us as we're having a conversation with the lady in front of us. Now, the lady in front of us is the wife of Tim Schmoyer. Tim Schmoyer has one of my favorite YouTube channels. Great channel called...
Tim Talks.
No, it's called Video Creators, and it's for people that make videos on YouTube. And he has kept me abreast of the changes that YouTube has been doing over the last several years. He and his wife have a family vlog. I've seen a few of them, but it's, again, one of those things that I don't have time to watch. But I recognized her. We were talking to her, Stan and I and another gal, and then this guy cuts in front of us, and he starts talking with Tim's wife. Forgive me, I don't know her name. And I'm thinking, well, okay, we've been standing at this taco truck for a while. It's freezing cold, the wind is blowing. I left my coat inside, keeping a chair warm. And whatever, they know each other, they're having a good time. Stan knows this guy. He reaches out and says, hey, I really enjoy, I don't know who he is. We get up to the truck, and the guy turns to us, he said, hey, I really appreciate you guys letting me step in here. Let me buy your lunch.
All right.
You better believe you're buying my lunch.
You've redeemed yourself, yeah, yes.
So I had a couple beef cheek tacos that were really quite good. And then Stan and I we got back in just in time for the thing to start up again. And that's when I realized he had paid the additional price to go spend the second half of the day with Tim Schmoyer. I did not pay to spend time with Tim Schmoyer, although he did address the whole group earlier in the morning. And Tim, I listened to his vlog. I listened to his podcast. I spend time on his website, his blog, and I kind of feel like I get everything I need from Tim. Now that he does some one-on-one and some small team things that might be worth doing someday, but I just didn't see the need to pay and go spend the second half. Stan did. So I go into the general session. And was then bored for about 2 straight hours. And so I ended up leaving, didn't say goodbye to Stan, didn't say goodbye to the gals that we had kind of talked to during the breaks and things. They were sitting around us. I just left. I'd enjoyed as much as I could stand, and I left. A couple days later, I get a message on Facebook. Hey, I'm Stan Cravens. I don't know if you remember me, but we met at VloggerFair, and anyway, started the conversation up again. So cool. I'm really happy that Stan reached out and did that. They had suggested that people bring business cards and things. I don't have a business card, so I just gave out golf tees.
Nice. So you need to get a personalized batch of golf tees that have your name etched on one side.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then aristocop.com on the other.
Maybe so.
Hollywood Homer.
Maybe I could just get that on a golf ball. I give them a tee and a ball.
Hollywood Homer, one side.
Anyway, it was
from aristocop.com.
I'm a people watcher,
yeah.
And so from that standpoint, it was interesting. It was the week of the elections, and easily half of that crowd was beside themselves. I mean, it was kind of a crazy vibe.
It was after
the
elections?
It was the weekend after the elections.
Right.
So we were only 3 days or so
right
after the determination of the elections. And the host of the event got up and introduced himself. And then the first words out of his mouth, and he starts to get kind of broken up. He says, I just want you all to know, this is a safe place. And it was just weird, you know?
Yeah.
Again, these are people that have paid at a minimum $100, in some cases $400 or $500, depending upon what breakouts they were doing. We were there, many people for their businesses and to learn some technical things. What camera should I use and all that. And that was just an odd introduction. Although I would say that probably the majority of the people in that room probably felt better that they were in a safe place.
Well,
I kind of wanted to fight the breakout, to be honest with you.
I mean, there's a, you know, like you mentioned, there's a certain narcissism that comes with doing daily vlogs, regular vlogs, and I think with that comes a perception that everyone thinks like me.
Right. Well, everybody knows me because I have a vlog.
Right.
right?
Because I'm famous, yeah. and everyone thinks like me, unless they're the enemy.
Right.
Right. And so in a place like that, there's a camaraderie because they all know each other, or feel like they know each other. And so there's just this perception that everybody believes the same things across the board, which anyone in the YouTube pipe community can speak to the fact that that's not exactly true.
Well, and let's also admit this, that a lot of people on both sides of both of the major parties were surprised this year. Some of them were surprised during the primaries, right? Because I remember having conversations back over the summer with some folks that were saying, you know what, I'll never vote for Trump, but it's interesting that he's involved in the primary. He's bringing up some points that other people are having to address that they would never have talked about.
Right.
So there's folks on the right who were frankly surprised that he became the candidate. And then obviously on the left, folks that thought, and if you went to sleep early that evening, you pretty much figured that, all right, the exit polls are telling us it's a done deal.
Right.
And so there was a lot of surprise, a lot of shock. And but what I don't comprehend is people that say that Trump is going to ruin America, and the way they feel that they can say that is by going out in the streets and ruining their neighborhood. And in Portland itself was really bizarre that folks were out destroying businesses and cop cars and stuff. And that, I don't know, I guess I'm clearly going to get political here because I draw a line at people destroying things in the name of what? Not destroying America.
Yeah. I agree. Logically, from a logical perspective, it doesn't make any sense. Unfortunately, the sociological effects of a situation like that brings about groupthink and brings about a group mentality that leads to erratic behavior.
And do you think the fact that's been released, or at least it's been reported, that so many of those people that were rioting didn't vote, do you think many of them didn't vote because they thought there was no need to vote, that they were believing all the reports and that things were going to go their way, or were they waiting to riot either way? I mean, what would have happened on Wednesday regardless of who won?
I don't know. I don't. I must be in the minority. Nothing surprises me anymore. So I wasn't surprised. I wasn't going to be surprised regardless of the outcome. I'm not surprised that it is surprising to me how surprised everybody is, because the world is crazy. The world is a crazy, crazy place, and so things don't surprise me all that much. And I voted, and I think that
we still don't have a governor as of this recording.
Right.
Our state, North Carolina,
still
doesn't have a governor.
Yeah. Well, we have one. We just don't know.
We don't have a governor elect. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
We weren't going to talk about any of this today, so I'm catching Boy off guard, except for the fact he's not surprised by anything.
I'm not. The comfort that I take in the election results is that I think that ultimately I don't think a lot is going to change in a terribly radical direction. I think there will be less change with Trump as president than with Clinton as president, because I think that there are enough people on both sides that are going to stand up to Trump more than they would to Hillary.
Yeah, probably true.
And so I think that we will see checks and balances being enacted more frequently, and probably a return more than anything to the governmental system as it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if you're a cynic and you're on the left, you're seeing a Senate that is Republican
Sure.
majority,
Everybody.
a representative that's Republican, House of Representatives Republican, president that's Republican, a president that's going to put some people on the Supreme Court that will likely lean that direction. And so, again, if you're a cynic and you're on the left, that's potentially a scary outcome. But I happen to believe, like you, that our founding fathers, with the separation of power, were pretty clever folks.
Yeah.
To have those checks and balances in place, and in the end, we the people are the final check and balance.
Right.
So,
yeah, and I, like many other voices out there, would encourage people to speak up, to be the voice and representation in their community.
be informed.
Be informed. If you believe that, a lot of the concern and fear is about injustice and about unequal
the voiceless,
treatment,
right?
and so, start with your voice, and start by being a voice and helping them in your community and in your sphere of influence find a voice, and then take your position as a member of this society, this government, this community, and represent that. It is will have a bigger result than complaining. Only complaining. Complain. You complain.
I have dear friends, truly dear friends, on all sides of the spectrum, and what makes those friends so dear to me is that we can debate, we can discuss things, and still be friends, right? We don't separate on those things that separate us. Man, if I was in a room full of just a bunch of me's, I would be bored to tears.
And I would leave quickly.
If I were in a room, or if you were in a room
with a bunch of yous, yeah, I couldn't stand that.
I know, it's tough.
But perhaps I'm being Captain Optimism, but I love a couple weeks ago now, Tom Hanks gave a speech and won an award and used it as an opportunity to talk about how, this is America and we have these founding documents and this ideal that we are always striving to be better, and we might take steps backwards, but we are always pushing forward, and we should cling to these ideals and use them to continue to move forward as a country. And he said that his sincerest hope is that Donald Trump will do such a great job that he votes for him in 4 years. And that's optimism.
Yeah.
Whether that will happen or not, who knows? But I at this point, it's hard to say.
A couple weeks back on NPR, on Prairie Home Companion, they were talking to. Have you heard that with a new host? Garrison Keillor has retired.
I knew that.
The new host is doing a great job.
Good.
But they took a phone call from the mission to Mars, the manned mission to Mars, and they were talking to the people that were on this manned mission. And the host was asking, so when will you guys be getting back? It's this a 2-year trip. Well, we've done some recalculating, and it looks like at the soonest we'll be back in 4 years, and if not 4, it's looking like 8. In fact, to be exact, it'll be January 20th, 2021.
That's funny.
Anyway, it was funny. It was funny.
There was a video from Big Brother, the TV show, which I didn't realize is still on the air.
I didn't either.
Excuse me. Of them coming on and telling the people that are in the house they have no access to television, have it for a long time, telling them the results.
Oh my gosh!
Your new president is Donald Trump. Have a nice night. And the TV cuts off, and they're all just like, Wait, come back. You're joking. Stop messing around. Come back. Please? No. And one of the
is
people
that
like,
available on YouTube?
Yeah.
That
One of the people's like, What is... Something must have happened. Something terrible must have happened. What is going on in the world?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see there's a guy who tried to, as long as he could, not learn the results. And so he made it like 4 days before actually opening up Facebook. And he has the camera on himself and he records that moment. And he's like scrolling through and he's reading a little post here and a post there. And then finally he's like...
That's funny.
It is funny.
All right, well, wait
Anyway.
to not be political. Starting tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m., will be the start of Tobacco Advent.
Yeah.
The 4th annual Tobacco Advent. This year, we will be getting all the way through episode 100 in the Tobacco Advent series.
That's right. That's right. 25
We,
episodes.
for those of you that know actual Advent and how that works, we don't do that. This is more of a 25 days of Christmas sort of calendar thing that we do.
With tobacco.
With tobacco. Every single day we'll be smoking tobacco, hopefully different ones, and hopefully ones that you have sent in, or you and other YouTube viewers have sent in. Hopefully this year your least favorite tobacco. We're very excited about that. Go ahead.
And as of this recording, we need more tobacco. So don't assume just because we're starting tomorrow that we have enough to get us through Christmas. So feel free to throw me an email at aristocob@gmail.com, subject line Tobacco Advent.
And if we haven't received enough, if you haven't sent any in, that's okay. It'll just be the 25 days of Lane 1Q. We still will be recording videos. We still will be, or actually, maybe it'll be the 25 days of Latakia. Oh no, that's their favorite tobacco. So their least favorite is likely to be 1Q. 25 days of 1Q.
It could be one. It could be 25 days of 1Q either way.
That's right. 25 days of 1Q, and so we always post a video on Christmas Day. That ends the Tobacco Advent season for us. We also, during this time, will be still recording Wednesday.
Our weekly episodes.
Our weekly Markwood's.
That's insane.
Markwood's Breakfast
Why
Club
do we do
episodes.
that?
We probably shouldn't. We should take a break this year from that. But as of right now, that's still the plan. So to next week, there will be a Tobacco Advent in the morning and also Markwood's Breakfast Club in the morning. But come back tomorrow. See us for Tobacco Advent Day 1. Subscribe.
Comment.
That's right.
Answer our daily question.
Yeah. And we will see you in the morning.
All right. Make it a great day, I guess.